Welcome to another edition of Tom Brand One Thoughts, and I kind of want to roll out here kind of a series of videos here and there about reminiscing of the days that were, reminiscing in my childhood and things, that it was a lot simpler time back then. Check this out.
Welcome. You've got mail.
Ladies and gentlemen, back in the day when the internet was at its infinite stages, and I could recall probably around, I want to say 97, 98, around there. AOL. AOL. Wow. AOL was a thing that, man, as a kid, I was already a teenager at that point, almost finishing high school. Man, did I love my AOL. Many of times that I spend countless nights on AOL. AOL 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. I think it went up to 6.0. And the thing is that you would get these discs constantly, free AOL discs. I got it down to a science where for a very long time there, and if you called up AOL, stated your case, and listen, I don't know if I want to commit to AOL, but I love your service, give me another free disc. There was this stretch of time there with all those discs that they would be sending out that I didn't pay for AOL, I'd say probably for a 2-year stretch. 2-year stretch. And back then, kids nowadays, they won't know the struggle. Back then, you had dial-up. That was that sound that you heard. That was a dial-up connection. And as a kid, when you would go jump on AOL, many of nights, because the connection, the connection was not the greatest, you'd spend all night trying to download something from Winamp, LimeWire, Kazaa, Napster. You wanted, on these things, you could, on Napster and all these sites, you could download songs upon songs, but it took you forever to download. I remember, at a line with a dial-up connection, if someone picked up the phone, usually your connection, you would lose your connection, and then you would have to reconnect. So, especially during peak hours, let's say on a Friday night, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, when everyone's home, if you tried calling, you would have to dial up. Many numbers that you could dial up from. But back then, you want to connect with a number that's a local number in your area code. If you have a 718 area code, you would try to connect to a number with a 718 area code. If you connected with a 212 or 516 that's not in your area, my friends, that is considered long distance. So you don't want to be on that number, and long distance means a bigger phone bill. Emails back then were like texting of today. I used to go online, and I love it. I loved it when I heard those famous words that you heard in the beginning. You've got mail. And if I signed on and had no mail, man, did I ever frown as a kid. did I have a frown as a kid? And it was like, AOL back then for me, as a teenager, again, it was a lot different time than it is now. AOL was like a dating site. I can't tell you the amount of girls that I, met through AOL. You'd be chatting in let's say, a local chat room. Let's say you're from Albuquerque, New Mexico. You go in AOL Places, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And odds are a lot of people in that chat room are from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So when I would go into these local chat rooms, you'd start talking with people. And then next thing you know, you're a kid, you're naive. Maybe it was a different time back then. It was. I don't know if AOL was still at its popular point now, if this would happen, but you type in with someone for about 2 or 3 hours. Next thing you know, hey, you want to meet up? Yeah, of course. And you would meet up, and you would think nothing of it. I remember countless of times when you're not the most talkative guy, AOL was like your connection to meeting people. Going back to those emails, when you had the emails, you'd have it was very popular. You get a lot of spam, obviously, because email was not prevalent as much back then. You get spam for penis enlargement, or or pick up a long lost relative from a foreign country has left you inheritance. That's the type of emails that you would get. But occasionally you get one of these chain mails from your friends, who then pass it along to you and all their other friends on their AOL buddy list. And that chain letter said, if you don't scroll down and read this and pass this on in the next 10 minutes, you will have bad luck and die. Yeah. You remember those? And we, like jackasses, we used to pass those along. I mean, at first, and then after a while, I'm like, this is stupid. This is stupid. I remember the Yahoo chat rooms as well, when you go on through AOL. And the hacks that allowed you to boot people out of rooms and kick them off the net. All the Mac guys thought that was untouchable, but there was always someone with a boot code for Macs. I mean, speaking of chat rooms, I remember there was after a while you found out how to make certain noises in the chat rooms, like there was one called like system, apostrophe S drop, I believe. And what it is, it was a sound that all the chat room heard. It was like a raindrop. Or you would do system, parentheses S stand for system IM, and then you would hear an IM sound in the chat room. So I'd be just tooling around as a kid there, doing all those sounds and being a pain in the ass. And I would be a pain in the ass where I would get a TOS. TOS is a terms of service. That's what it was referred to. And terms of service is when you were being, and I don't think AOL even fully investigated. As soon as someone reported you just for being annoying, not even being, malicious, just being annoying, you get a TOS. And you have to call AOL to get the TOS back. That way you got to remove. That way you could go back online and chat with your friends and go into chat rooms and can continue the voyage to talk to girls. And it was tricky back then, because as a kid, I think with AOL, even though they were free discs, you needed a credit card on file. As a kid, you don't have a credit card as a 16, 17-year-old. So you get a TOS, you want to go online. You can't go online, you have to call AOL. So what do? What did I do? I acted as my father, trying to explain, yeah, my son was an idiot. He will never do it again. Can he please go back online? So I wasn't going to tell my parents I got a TOS. They'd be like, what are you doing, you idiot? No more AOL for you. Oh man, too, those chat rooms. You remember A apostrophe S apostrophe, no, A slash S slash L slash P check. And that stood for age, sex, location, pick, check. Because, you know, back in those days, you don't want to try to chat with no one in a chat room unless they were the opposite sex. I mean, heavens forbid you're a guy and speaking with another guy. You don't want to be catfished. Oh, man, those were the days just with those AOL chat rooms. Many are fun times. As a kid, you know, you got a little something going on with someone that you're chatting with on AOL. I think that's what most people use it, just to chat with other people. You're chatting with someone, then they invite you to a private chat. A private chat is just a chat where you and whoever the other person invites is in that room, and it's just a chat between you, because these AOL chat rooms had, you know, at one point they had, you know, like 250. I forget what the capacity was for these rooms, but I think it was like maybe 100, 250 certain rooms. So it got, you know, with all people typing, it got kind of hard to read. So you got a private chat with a person. Things were getting serious as a kid when you're speaking with the opposite sex. Man, just a lot of fun too. And you had AOL, you know, if you were away from your computer and you were speaking with a significant other or someone that you're interested through the computer, and you're away from the computer, you got to make sure you put that away message on. Because if someone messages you from your buddy list and you don't answer, that's like, and you're trying to, you know, work something out with that person, you don't answer them, they think you're not interested, they move on, they might never speak to you again. You would get that text message as, you would get that, that I am as a kid, are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Every couple of minutes. Oh, guess you're not there. Guess you're not interested. Bye. And you fell asleep by your computer. You're like, oh no, I hope this person speaks to me the next day. AOL, man, definitely just, wow. A thing of beauty. Simpler times back then. Hope all is well.